Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And it sure is fun to watch these comments swing by even before the broadcast starts. So I'm really happy with the way this is looking. Anyways, we're here to say some good stuff about us. And in doing so, really take control of our internal narratives. So I just want to say good morning, Shauna, Lauren, Grant, Dan, Jeffrey, Janet, Brenda, Jean, Robert. It is good to see you guys here. It's good to come together for the purposes of saying good stuff about us. So y'all know how this works. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and then we're all going to respond together. I am that affirmation. And then we're going to write it down and we're going to affirm it for each other and just build each other up, creating a positive space here on the internet. So let's have some fun today by saying that on this Thursday, I am loving. I am loving. I nurture meaningful connections. Why are you awake, buddy? I'm glad that you made it to the wake-up call. I nurture meaningful connections. And so today we are loving. We nurture meaningful connections. Are you loving? You are loving. You nurture meaningful connections. And what I'm going to do is write that down in the chat. And I encourage you to write that down in the chat too, that we are loving people and that we nurture meaningful connections. And isn't that the way it is? I mean, when I was a kid, I always wondered, what love was all about. I saw, my parents loved each other, or at least as far as I could tell, they loved each other. And, my parents once, they gave me this lesson. They said, love is not a feeling. They said, if you're looking for a feeling in love, you're never really going to find that. Feelings are something that come and go. They said, love is an action. Love is an act of your will. Brenda Jean says, love is a verb. Indeed, it is. We choose to love the people around us. We choose to nurture those meaningful connections. And as we do, we get to really make our lives better, make the lives of the people around us better too. Meaningful connection is so, so important, because what can we accomplish by ourselves that we couldn't accomplish better if we were connected to somebody else? And here we are doing our lives, being alive. And as we are, as we do that, we have to interact with other people. I mean, the connections that we make here in life, the meaning that we generate here in life, that is the point. Life isn't about what we accomplish, what we accumulate. Life isn't about the titles that we get or the amount of money that we earn. Life is about the connection that we make with the people around us, and all the other stuff that we accumulate or all the accolades that we get. That stuff is nice, but it's not the meaning. Meaningful connection is the purpose of life. And so as we go through today, let's look around at the people around us and say, how can I love these people more? How can I nurture a connection with them more? How can I have, as Brenda Jean would say, authentic connections with real humans? We are loving people. And that's something that makes us very different, very peculiar, because the world doesn't teach us how to be loving. The world teaches us how to be selfish. The world teaches us how to go get ours and make sure that that we are being treated the way that we want to be treated. Love is not that way. So as we go through life, we nurture the meaningful connections with the people around us, and we ask, how can I serve? What can I do? How can I help? As opposed to, what's in it for me? Though the world would tell us that when we get what's in it for us, that's the point, that we have that we are succeeding, that we are achieving when we get the things that we want. And it's wonderful to get the things that we want. But as Bob Proctor says, we can have anything in the world that we want if we help other people get what they want. And so in the process of helping other people get what they want, we get to also have what we want. And so in order to do that, the only way is to nurture a meaningful connection, a connection that is profound, a connection that has a deeper meaning. And so that's what we're going to do today. I remember that when I really first started to understand what love was all about, I recognized that I couldn't I couldn't do it by myself. I mean, in order to have a meaningful connection with somebody else, they also must want to have a meaningful connection with you. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And I remember that when I got divorced, one of the things that really went through my mind a lot was I was like, man, me giving 100% isn't enough. She also had to give 100%, and me doing it all wasn't enough, or me giving my all, not doing it all, but me giving my all wasn't enough. It isn't enough for us to give our all in order to have a loving connection with somebody else. It has to be a reciprocated thing. If it's unrequited, then it doesn't really work, because then one person loves and the other person uses. And yeah, so Brenda Jean says, when one person stops working on the relationship, it is over. It's so true. So everybody has to continue working on it in order for it to continue existing. So yeah, I am loving and I nurture meaningful connections. And that also means, on the flip side, that we nurture meaningful disconnections as well. When we recognize that that our efforts are being, are being wasted, that our efforts are not really bringing us any result, then it's important for us to love ourselves. It's the golden rule is to do unto others, treat other people the way that we would like to be treated. And so one way that I would like to be treated is that I would like to be, I would like for the people that I cultivate a meaningful relationship with to cultivate one with me right back. And when I find that that's not happening, it's okay. But it's okay, and I don't need to continue that effort. Now, something else that people don't really realize when they think about the golden rule is that we have to understand how to love ourselves before we can understand how to love somebody else. How can we love somebody else if we hate ourselves? Because we know ourselves better than we know anybody else. They have there's the whole phenomenon in married relationships where typically after about 2 years all the feelings have faded, and at that point the reality of what love is sets in for people. They recognize that hey, this is what commitment looks like when I'm not, when all these happy chemicals, when all this dopamine isn't flowing. And that's why there are so many people who give up on their relationship after about 2 years, because, well, after all those happy chemicals stop flowing, and after the true nature of commitment reveals itself, then that's when a lot of people give up. Susan says, I like what you said about disconnect. It's a tougher lesson. Loving yourself first is a must. If it doesn't bring joy, I move away. Yeah, it's really important to disconnect. There are some people in my life that I had, or that I nurtured a meaningful connection with, but over the course of time, that connection became less meaningful. And for so long as I insisted on maintaining it, I was actually hurting myself, and I was hurting them as well. And so when I finally did say, wow, this isn't worth it for me, I'm going to disconnect, I set myself free from them, and I set them free from me as well. So today we are loving, and we nurture meaningful connections with ourselves first and foremost, and then with the people around us who we purpose to love. And so that's the message for today. So we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Friday with yet another one of these calls. I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you for just showing up, for talking, for commenting, for sharing, for saying these words out loud. This thing is an absolute gift for me to be able to do this, and I know and I sincerely hope it's a gift for you as well. So I will return tomorrow 9 a.m. and we will be back with another empowering message. Until then, I love you and care about you, and believe all of these words about you. Aloha from paradise.